Hey guys, welcome back to Rags and Stitches. My name is Amy. Welcome back. Welcome back. We have a fun project that we're about to do. This is basically a project that we've done several times, but we are perfecting the system of making this, and I think I have it now. So we're going to try it. However, first I want to start by showing you my little Velcro bag that has my lipstick and lip gloss in it. I think I need some lip gloss. This thing holds more than you think. Okay. So before we get started, let's talk about what we need for this project. I just had to show off my bag. I mean, you don't have to zip or anything. It just, just perfect. I made myself one with the birds on it because I have a backyard full of birds. I feed them. I watch them. I'm crazy like that. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so you're going to need a zipper. This is a 6 or 7 inch zipper. It's probably going to be a little big for the size bag I want to make. Um, as you know, we've been making these cosmetic bags, whatever you want to call them, zipper pouches. Um, and I wanted to get really good at making them so that I don't have to sit and really think about it, just like clockwork, do it. So I'm getting better and better, but we're going to do it again. I sometimes I run into problems with using the double-sided tape. Where is it? Right here. However, it just helps. So it's worth the hassle. So I'm going to use double-sided tape. So here's what you need. Double-sided tape. If you don't have it, you're going to struggle with the zipper placement. You can do it without it. You can pin the zipper. You can clip it with those clips, whatever, but I prefer the double-sided tape when it comes to a zipper. You're going to need a zipper size and color of your choice. You're going to need about a yard or two of fabric. You're going to need whatever you want for your inside liner, whatever you want for the outside of the bag. Okay, so this is going to be my outside. This is going to be my inside. Then you're going to need either fusible, I forget. There's a fusible interfacing, whatever you want to use. I use felt. Okay. This is going to be what gives it its cushiony, nice quilted feel for the bag. It just steps it up a level. We're also going to do some horizontal lines, horizontal line quilting on this bag as well. This video will be several parts. This is part one, where we will get our materials ready, cut our fabric, etc., etc. Now, we're going to need, for the size bag I'm doing, we're going to do it kind of small. Um, so we're going to let's start by, you know, I may not have to do it small. The reason I was going to do it smaller is because I want this for my liner and I don't have much of it. But worst case scenario, I have something else I can use for liner with it. So I'll just mismatch it. So we're going to make the bag basically going by the size of our felt. So the felt, and I'm going to give you the sizes on it. The felt is, hold on, it tells me right here. The felt is 9 inches by 12 inches. Okay. The felt squares or rectangles are 9 inches by 12 inches. So our bag is going to start out 9 inches by 12 inches, but of course you got to allow your seam allowance. So it's going to be a bit smaller than that. All right. So we need 2 pieces of felt. Okay. We're going to need 2 squares of our outside fabric and 2 squares of our inside fabric. I'm not sure how much I got of this, so let's cut that last. Let's go ahead and get our felt and take 1 piece of felt and use that as your cutting guide. Okay. So pick your outside fabric. What do you want on the outside of your bag? I'm picking the wildflowers This is put out by, I was going to give you the name, but I can't find what I did with it. So what I'm going to do to make it simple to cut out my 2 outside pieces is I'm going to leave the fabric folded so I can cut them at the same time. And I'm going to pin my felt with the edges flush together, like just perfectly together. I'm going to pin it first, and I'm going to angle the camera where you can see my little cutting area here. That's basically a stool. Okay. So we're going to make sure all the edges are flush. I'm going to move it over a little bit because I'll tell you why. I have to cut, because right now it's folded, I'm going to have to cut a little bit of this seam there, or it's not a seam, it's a fold. So I've got my little bracelet with my pins, and basically I'm just pinning one piece of felt to use as a cutting guide, making sure that it's laid flat out like that. And just pin all 4 corners, okay? Let's get our scissors, fabric scissors only. We're going to leave a little bit on the edge here, okay? Not too much, just a bit. And this fabric is folded, so I'm actually cutting 2 squares out, not just one, under this felt. And if you are looking for a very nice pair, affordable of fabric scissors, affordable being the key word, you can get these on Amazon. These are Fiskar. These are razor edge fabric scissors. Okay, so we got that. Let's move this and put it aside. And this is the fabric I chose. It has little wildflowers on it. It's really like a mustardy kind of, I don't know how to explain the color. Okay, flip it over. Now you can see how perfect we've cut this out. So I need to cut along this fold just to make sure that it stays even. I'm going to cut it sideways and take my time. Come to the other side. Put the scissors in there. Okay, good to go. All right, so now we have 2 pieces of the outside fabric. We have 2 pieces of felt. Okay, now I'm going to leave this put together because now we're going to cut the liner. We need 2 of the same size for the liner. So I'm going to see if I've got enough from this, and I might just, because I really want this pretty thing to be the liner. So we're going to do the same thing again. Line it all up, pin it down. Ooh, this one has some fraying on some raw edges here from the where it was cut by someone. I got it at the thrift store. Oh, I found my outside fabric, by the way, is Emma and Mila 100% cotton. The pattern is called Wildflowers Collection. And that's what I'm using for the outside. Okay, let's flip her over and we're going to cut her even with the felt. I hope I have enough for 2. I don't know. It's going to be iffy, guys. If not, I'm going to have to make mismatched on the inside, which is fine. I mean, mismatched is cute as well. Okay. Oops. All right. Let's see how much I have left. If I have enough. Oh, barely. That's not quite enough. It's not wide enough. I mean, to be fair, it's going to be on the inside. I could just clip this and sew it together. Or I can mismatch it with this. Let's see what this looks like. I don't really want to. I want the wildflowers. Tell you what we're going to do. We're going to improvise is what we're going to do. Let's go ahead and cut this. And we're going to sew 2 bits together to make it You get what I'm saying? We could use some double-sided tape to hold it in place. Let's do that. Because as we're sewing, we're quilting, it's going to get quilted anyway. No, the liner's not going to get quilted. What am I saying? The felt is going to get quilted, not the liner. Let's use some double-sided tape. I'm just in love with this fabric, so I want to use it. So let's put some on the... You don't want it sticking to the felt. I really should have moved that off the felt before I did this. And I don't want it all the way down. Okay. Let's move this off the felt. We do not want to stick it to the felt. We just want to stick it to each other. And what I'm going to do is, this alone may be enough to hold it together, because this bag is, I'm making this bag for video purposes, so I could go back and sew it later. I'm just going to line it up. Look at that. You can tell. And then I'll sew it in a little bit. Okay. Put this back on. Line it all up. Well, let's line up the bottom. That's perfect. Okay. Boy, we really didn't need but a little corner of it, but it worked. Ideally, it's best if you measure it out and get them all even and do all that. But I mean, I just don't have time for that on this video. All right. Save the little bit that's left, because this is darn cute. I like that fabric. It's very soft. So we've got our pieces. This one is a little bit wacky. All right, guys. So let's unpin everything now. We have liner, liner. So 2 pieces of liner. Doesn't matter what color the felt is, because it's not going to show. It's just to use as sort of batting. Okay. Or in place of interfacing. Okay. So there's my 2 pieces of fabric. Okay. 2 pieces of fabric and 2 liners. and the stuffy in between. Okay, we got it. We're going to start with our zipper, actually, guys. And I've got the perfect solution. All right, so there's all our materials. Now we're going to start with our zipper. First thing we're going to do is make our zipper cover tabs, which I'm going to use the remainder of this. And most people measure with the ruler and deciding how, big they want to make it. I'm going to, which you can do, but I'm going to do it just by guesstimating. So what I need is, let's see, I'm going to fold it together. I need 2 squares for the zipper tabs, zipper covers. So I'm just going to fold it over. It doesn't have to be perfect. We just want to line the ends up. There we go. Okay. And we're going to cut a little square. So your square is probably about 1 inch or 1.5 inches. Let's measure it. Okay, I got 2 inches. 2-inch square. All right. It don't have to be that long. You're going to barely snip the edge off your zipper just to square it off. Don't cut too much because then you'll be having a hard time just applying these to it. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to, now you can take these to sewing machines, to the ironing board, iron them, fold them, get them all perfect. I'm not doing it just for this video, okay? But really, ultimately, you could go to the ironing board and iron here and do all that. I'm going to do the simple method, which is fold it over just a little bit like that. And then you're going to take your zipper and you're going to lay it across like that. We're going to run a stitch right across here to hold it in place. And that's as far as we're going to get right this second. So I'm going to turn the camera around because you're going to be over here. Okay. Move all that. Okay. Let me get a sip of Coke. All right. In my machine, I'm going to put the light over here so you can see. So in my machine, I have some light kind of seafoam green thread mixed. That's in the top. It's more of a lime, I guess. Yeah. And in the bottom is just plain white in my bobbin. So I'm going to take this. I've folded it over, as you can see, and I'm just holding it into place with my zipper here. And I just want to make a stitch right across this area here to hold it in place. Mindful of I'm trying to be mindful of the zipper buckle, whatever you want to call it. Little metal part at the other end of the zipper. You want to get it nice and tight here because I accidentally stepped on that, guys. Sorry. You want to get it close to the edge, but a little bit past the edge but you don't want to get off the edge, is what I'm trying to say, because you're going to cut these edges off. Okay. So you want to just keep it like this. And I realize some of this is going to be repetitive, but this is just an easier way. I'm finally figuring out a method. Start with the zipper covers, then we move on to the quilting. Okay, so we're going to make a stitch and go forward and then a back stitch. Back. Okay. Now, when you come off of the machine, that was perfect. Thank goodness. And I need a little bit of organization over here, it looks like. Anyway, when you come off of the machine, I'm going to show you what it'll look like. And then all right, so the back side should look like this with my stitching straight lined across here. The front side looks nice with the stitching right across here. Okay, now what you're going to do is fold this part right here over one time, just a little, and then all the way over again till they line up like that. And we're going to run another stitch across. Okay, same as we did before. All right, I'm starting on the other side. And we're going to start a little past the sides, and then we're going to back stitch again when we get to the side. Okay, what's up with you, thread? What are you doing here? Hold on, guys. I want to make sure my thread doesn't start doing wacky crap on me, because it's been doing it all day. If you ever do this, do not try this at home. Where in the heck? It's crazy. I'm really believing that this thread has a mind of its own. Now I've got the right proper thread in here, the one that's got the little bobbin, and I'm starting to think it's my footer because I got used to using the other footer. I'm thinking I might be using it again here in a minute. I switched my footer out. Okay. I actually think that's not a bad idea, but let me get past this part. Line it up, make sure it's lined up. There we go. Try to keep it as straight as you can. All right, when you're done, you pull it out and you should be looking like that. Okay, both sides. Now what we're going to do is we're going to stitch parallel here to one another. Okay, so we're going to stitch up here and we're going to stitch up here. And that needs to be close to this, to the edge of the zipper, because we're going to cut the excess off at the end. And obviously you don't want it to come right apart. So you want to make sure there's a good seam on this side. So let's test it and see how close. Yep, that's perfect. We're ready. Good. Done. Pull that out. Let's make sure I cut all these threads off. Sometimes I get in a hurry and I don't cut my threads off like I should. And then at the end of the project, I'm going back and I'm cutting all this thread. Okay. I should mention, this series is probably going to be 3 parts or 2 parts. I haven't decided yet. I'm going to see how far we get tonight. And then we'll either finish tonight or we'll finish tomorrow. Okay. I don't know why the bobbins keep acting so crazy on me. Okay. So when you finish with that, it should be like that. So you kind of got a square here. Now let's cut the excess off of that, and then we're going to do the same, repeat it on the other side. Okay. So I just go flush with the edge of the zipper fabric and just cut. You can go back and put another stitch here. Okay, on the sides. I mean, you could go run another stitch up. I'm not going to, because my zippers are not going to stay out. my tabs, they're going to be inside the bag. So you're not going to even see them. They're going to be like this in the bag. Okay. So basically, I'm not going to worry about it. Okay. Where's my other square? Well, that can't be it. I bet you it's under here. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Hold on, guys. No. I'm trying to figure out why you guys. Where is that? The other piece. Hold on. For most of my videos, you might hear me drop stuff. It's okay. It's just stuff. I'm very compact in here. So I just have to make do. Guys, I've lost the other piece. Am I looking straight at it and I don't know it? I mean, where did it go? This can't be it because that's not even straight. Bet you it is it. Okay, well, that's okay because I am. All right. Now, we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Here we go. All right. So we're going to fold it over. And sew that first folded over side first. Here's the tricky part, is going across the zipper right up top. But we're going to do the best we can, okay? Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's not. It's just the way it is, isn't it? Okay. I'm going to have to pull the zipper back. I hate doing that because you could make it easier on yourself and run a stitch across there. Me, I'm just going to go for it. All right, ready? This sucker is sticking again. We're going to walk it up. Okay, guys, I'm having technical difficulty again. I don't know why. I just think it's either the bobbins or the needle. I cannot figure out what is going on. Let's just do that. I am not a fan of this, what you call it, footer. So I'm going to change my footer out in a minute. Let me just get past this part. And I'm going to go back to that other one that I have. Okay, we've got that first part folded over and over again till it meets up. And this is too long. Hold on. My ends of my zipper are just a tad too long. So I've cut them shorter. Much better. Okay. So line it up and stitch across again. Got it? Okay. Cut that loose and this loose. Now we're going to sew those stitches up the side like we did before. Very lined up with the pink zipper. Move some stuff out. Now, Other side. Oh, I knew it. Here we go again, guys. Here we go again. I'm going to switch to my other footer because I don't think this happened like this all the time when I was using that other footer. And I don't know if it's because it has a smaller little area for the fabric there. And that's probably why it doesn't slide all the way out the needle all the time when I go backwards a lot. So, yeah, no biggie. We'll figure it out. Probably need to cut that. There we are. Got it. The bad thing is, if you don't have a big sewing space, not that I'm being ungrateful. My small space is fine. However, if you don't have a big sewing space, and quite frequently, things are going to be dropping off the table, threads on everything, just seems to be a little bit harder because everything's so a little more cluttered. All right. Okay. Let's cut them corners off again. And it's so funny because when you're a beginner, I don't know if you're like I am, but you just feel like you really want to go ahead and know it. But you got to take the time to learn it. There you go. We're finished with that. Next step is to start the quilting process. Now, we're going to start the quilting process, and this is where we will end video 1, and that will be the end of part 1. And when we come back for part 2, will be once everything's quilted, and we'll go from there. So let's start with the quilting. The quilting is going to go with the outside exterior fabric, okay? So get your exterior fabric after you set your zipper aside. That's your zipper set aside here, ready to go, okay? Next, get your felt, one piece of felt, and your outside material, outside fabric. And you're going to lay it down and pin it. Don't pin right at the edge. Pin kind of in the middle. We want to make sure all the ends are flush. And it's a great idea if you want to go ahead and iron it when it's put together, okay? It's a great idea to go ahead and iron it. I'm not, for this video, I can iron it later. I'm not worried. But I want to start you quilting on this piece. Now, we have a video previously of the horizontal lines quilting. You could do the checkerboard. You could do horizontal lines and then come back this way. Okay. But for this video, for this bag, we're just doing straight horizontal. Okay. You want your bag to be elongated. So this way, rectangle, not this way. So you want it with the longer parts to be quilted. So let me show you. Turn that way, not that way. Okay. So you want it this way. All right. So we have one piece of felt on the back. We have our outside fabric. And now we're going to do all the way around just one big square just to hold it all together. Then we will start the quilting process. Okay. And you can pick whatever thread you want. And like I said, I have this lime green kind of color. I don't know how it's going to look. We're just going to go for it. I'm going to leave about a quarter of it same. Right here, I'm going to back stitch a little bit and forward a little bit. And then I'm going to make sure it's down about a quarter of an inch, put my needle down, lift the footer, and turn. Well, yeah, I think this thread's going to look nice. You see it? I think it'll be nice. It'll be fine for the quilting. Continue on. And if you want to go faster, I don't know. Sometimes I do that. Let's just speed it up a bit. You don't have to back stitch on every corner. I tend to do it as habit because my machine can lose the thread. If the thread comes out or any of that happens, I can pick up where I left off and it's already tied off, so to speak. It's already, you know. It's got stitch to it. Now, I don't know if you can hear this machine, but this machine is loud. And sometimes I get, oh, okay, my bobbin's doing something. Hold on, I can see it. Sometimes I get jealous of, see, this is a lot of times why I go ahead and backstitch. What was I going to say? Sometimes I get something to do with sewing that I get jealous of. Oh, jealous of these other girls who have channels or other women or whoever. Because I don't know if it's the videos, how they upload them, or if it is truly their machine. But their machines are so quiet. And I just feel like mine is sometimes into the back sticks right in here. Got it. All right, now I want to show you something that I forgot to mention. I'm not going all the way to the end. I know I mentioned a quarter of an inch seam allowance. I don't know if I showed it to you, but this is what I'm talking about. So your stitching is here. So the square stops here and goes down. So we don't stitch all the way up here, is what I was trying to say. And when you go to quilt, it's only going to go across from those little areas, okay? Because obviously you don't need to quilt the edges where you're going to sew it together. All right. Next part is to quilt this. You're going to do this on both pieces. How we just did our square round first, you're going to do the same thing on the other felt and top, okay? Then you're going to go quilt them both. So we're not going to do all that on camera. That's for the next video. We'll be past that. But so let's make sure your fabric's the right way. With the long side is what we're quilting, not the short side. You can see how much shorter that is. We're doing the long side. Okay, so we're going to start about 1.5 inches down. Okay, it's about 1.5 inches down. So we're going to start about right here and start stitching this way. Okay, so leave all this open. All right, so we're going to come halfway down there. All right, and you're going to start at that line where you did the square or rectangle. Keep calling it a square. And now you just go all the way across, keeping it as straight as you can. All the way across. Your fingers need to stay on it. Your fingers have to stay on it because you don't want it to stiff. Back stitch at the end of the row. Make sure that where you're at is right on that seam. Okay. Then you're going to lift, leaving the needle in, and turn. Now you can see my quilted first horizontal line. Okay. So now you're going to put the footer back down. You want to count. I just count. Okay. You can measure it. You can chalk it first. People who quilt always take their tailor's chalk. Where did mine go? And they normally take their chalk and they measure each line perfectly 1.5 inches apart and do all that. And then they draw the line so they know where to quilt. Okay. I don't do that. I count, I wing it. Okay. I just do. I'm not out to be Miss Perfectionist at all. As long as they look about the same, I'm good. Okay. So this is down and I'm going to count. My method is I count to about 12, just like this. Watch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12. And then it's 1.5. Okay. So then I lift it up with the needle in, needles down, and I turn it this way, put it back down. And so you can see I perfectly was on that line. You cannot see my other stitches. I did 12 down, and now we're going to go across again, and I'll show you. I also would like to mention that they do have quilting footers. I do have one. I just don't know where it is. I mean, I don't know which one it is. And my new kid, I haven't learned that yet. Okay. All right. So lift this up, turn it, and let's count to 12. Okay. Flip it, turn it, and go this way. Now, you're going to keep going. Okay. All the way. You see mine? They don't look half bad. You see them? Perfect. Okay. So that is how I quilt horizontal lines. It is not exact, guys. Let me make that very clear. If you want exact lines and all that horizontally across, you're going to have to take your ruler, measure, take your tailor's chalk, draw your lines, and then you'll stitch across the line. That's fine. If you want to do it that way, please, by all means do. I understand we're not all created alike. Some of us are perfectionists, and that is fine. Everybody loves a perfectionist. I just happen to not have that trait. So, okay, guys. So you're going to quilt the rest of that. Then let me bring you up here. So once you've completed that, you're going to do the same thing to the other two pieces. We're not going to do it on video, so that's why I'm telling you. You're going to pin the felt with the other front. We're not fooling with the liners. The liners are over there, okay? We're not doing the line. So the front, and then you're going to quilt the same way. So our next video, part 2, we will have already quilted both and then we will be ready to go with our zipper application. So I'll see you on the next one, part 2. I hope you enjoyed this, and get ready because we're going to make a really pretty bag with a nice fleur-de-lis charm. Okay, on the zipper, we'll have a charm. Okay, guys, we'll be back for part 2. See you then. Bye.